SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. If you want to improve your ranking in search engine results, and who doesn't, then an SEO or search engine optimization strategy is a must. Sagar Sethi is founder and CEO of digital marketing agency Sugar. He gives Chris Ashmore an SEO overview and explains how to incorporate it within a broader marketing strategy. First, he says, gone are the days when Google used to be volume hungry.
You would remember when Google was started, they used to manually scrape the internet. So the priority was for them to include as many results as possible. Whereas now it's more about quality. So they're not volume hungry, they're quality hungry. So to break it down, whenever someone types something into Google, they type in what we call a key phrase or a keyword. And every key phrase or a keyword has a volume associated with them. Meaning, this is the number of times people have typed that particular phrase or keyword into Google in that month, is what we consider as keyword volume. This tells us how popular a key phrase is. So search engine optimization is all about working with Google's way of listing your website for that key phrase as the top result on their search engine ranking page. In fact, we've got a bit of a joke in the industry that the best place to bury a body is on Google's second page because no one ever goes there, right? So what we are trying to do is with search engine optimization, because it's a competitive score, you don't have to score 100 out of 100, meaning you don't have to tick off everything on Google's algorithm criteria to make sure that you rank on page one. You just have to do better than everyone else to be listed for that key phrase as a result. So the fight is that when you're doing search engine optimization, whether you're doing it yourself or you're engaging an agency, it is for them or yourself to understand whether you are a better result than your competitors for that key phrase to rank above everyone else. Because what happens is, we talked about search volume. Whenever someone is searching for that result, they necessarily don't connect with your business. They just see your website. They just see your description, the meta titles, the results that you get literally on the page one. Then they click on it to go to your website and do business with you. So there's a lot of aspects here, but the first thing is for everyone who's engaging in an SEO activity or a campaign is to understand who their audience is, because that defines what keyword they need to go for. And whenever we think of keywords, we always have several criteria. But has it changed? It definitely has changed a lot. So Google no longer wants to focus on how many times a key phrase is mentioned on a page. What they want to focus on is the gist of the answer. And more importantly, not just whether the quality or the gist of the answer is satisfying the question, but also who is writing the answer. What is their credibility and authority to be able to say something about that topic? So it's no longer about the content quality as well. It is also about who is writing the content. It is about how much that website helps the user. So is it a good thing for SEOs? Well, it's a great thing for SEOs because now we can feel independent and not tied down by someone splashing thousands of dollars, in a year to just buy backlinks and rank better. And the quality of the content is probably not as good. It's just the same keywords and similar keywords repeated on the page, splashed all over. We can actually focus on delivering, writing, and researching and producing that level of content that actually adds value. And when readers actually get value out of this, they are tempted to do business with you. So it's very liberating for the right reasons and for the right SEOs.
Gotcha. How does Google determine who has written that piece then?
Very good question. So it is all about structured data. So structured data is a technical term, meaning when Google's crawlers come on a certain page to crawl that particular website, Structured data helps them understand what that data is about and what that data actually is. A part of that is the author. And that is how Google collects and the crawlers collect that create that identity on the internet of every individual. So it's sort of scary because, now suddenly bots are aware of how much content you as an individual are writing. But it's important because whenever someone is searching for a certain thing on the internet, I rather get the results from someone who's credible source of information rather than someone who's really good at SEO. Right? Again, a joke, I try to actually use these little jokes because it helps connect better with people who are listening. When you are searching for a symptom, the disease that's got the best SEO wins.
Right.
So when you're searching for a stomach ache, it doesn't necessarily lead to a disease that might kill you in 2 months down the track. It just means that that particular article's got better SEO. Now, especially in this scenario, would you rather have a result from someone who's educated, I'd say certified physician, or someone who's just really good at writing blogs, right? So the credibility of the author is very important. And the way Google's crawlers work that out is through structured data, which is technically embedded into every page.
How does SEO fit within an overall online marketing strategy?
For a business owner, it is important to understand whether they need leads and inquiries right away or they want to invest in a long-term strategy. Now, this is something that is sort of thrown around quite a bit on podcasts and on the internet in general, that SEO is a long-term strategy. And a lot of business owners fall victim of this as well, because one thing is because they're hearing this again and again that SEO is a long-term strategy, so they wait around. When I say SEO is a long-term strategy, it doesn't mean that the actions stop. It doesn't mean that the works that are done to achieve those rankings in the future stop. So SEO in general fits into getting a long-term better return on investment through digital marketing, whereas Google Ads and other strategies that are pay-per-click, they help you generate the momentum fairly quickly. The difference is with Google Ads, it's a paid service. For example, you are able to either run a social media marketing campaign or Google Ads and have some sort of traction and results within first 2 weeks. Some people can even do it faster than that, depending on the industry, the scope, the requirement, and the expectations you have out of the campaign and the goals you have out of the campaign. With SEO, because it's a competitive landscape, you have to understand where your website is for more than 200 criteria versus your competitors for a certain keyword in front of the algorithm's priorities and the way it's processing data at the moment. And whenever Google crawls, whenever you make changes, the crawlers come and crawl it again, they reassess it and give you another position. So it does take long, especially if the gap between you and your competitors is large. So if you were to ask me what is better or where does it fit, well, it certainly gives you better return on investment because your spend remains constant and your return keeps on increasing over time, because over time you start capturing more and more, I'd say, presence on the internet, on the search engines over time. So your return on the money you're investing every single month keeps getting increased and better, larger and larger. Whereas with ads, it's sort of dependent on how much money you're putting in on a month-to-month basis. So is it a strategy for everyone? Definitely not. It just changes from industry to industry, right? Should everyone have a holistic approach, and should everyone have a little bit of their marketing budget put towards Google Ads and a little bit put towards social media marketing and a little bit put towards email marketing or SEO? Well, if your pocket allows, if your investment allows, definitely do that. But for everything, I always say this: whatever gets measured gets done. So please don't fall victim of this mindset where you want to spread your net as wide as possible and try and capture as much as possible. Well, that's definitely okay to do if you have the pocket for it, if your budget allows for it, but please make sure you have the key, I'd say, KPIs set in place and it's very well measured and discussed frequently.
That was Sagar Sethi, founder and CEO of Sugar. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast.
SoundCartel.